Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to that rebirth, okay? It is Scorpio season, and the rebirth is what it's all about. Right after the eclipse, we are officially in the moon being in Sagittarius. What does that mean? Sagittarius is all about finding the most optimistic outlook after some of the most traumatic and painful events, okay? So the opposite of Scorpio is Taurus. Taurus is the body. Now, in order for us to go to a transformation, we must recognize the traumas that we have stored in our body. Scorpio. The traumas that we store in our body come out in deep, intimate relationships. Scorpio. You see what I'm saying? So what this is all about is starting to realize how have your intimate relationship, how have my intimate relationships. The irony of today is, I believe today as I walked out of the house, I realized, oh shit, the first girl who really fucking broke my heart, who really crushed my shit, like 8 to 10 years ago. And this is why those cycles, when the Venu Cazimi has officially stopped those 8 to 10 year long cycles, I really want to say like 8 to 9 years, long cycles. And it was like, look, this is the karma that I needed to have. This is the karma that I needed to go through. Let's get back into the sun. Goddamn hot ass sun. Sexy ass Scorpio sun. Okay? So the sun is bringing back our power, bringing back our authority. Me as a Scorpio rising, for example, is bringing back my power, bringing back my authority. So after this eclipse, it's like, don't be afraid if you feel more spiritually drained, even if your physical body is okay. There's still a certain amount of rest required from a spiritual drainage. You feel me? Where that drain is mostly about the emotions that were trapped in the body that are now released through the body through certain triggers that are being either revealed. I really want to say revealed. Certain triggers that have been revealed. Because somebody you're talking to, somebody you're intimate with, helps you, doesn't have to be a romantic partner, to see deeper into yourself. And that's what I see into me means, intimacy, which is really, again, Scorpio's program. So Sagittarius and the moon that we're in right now, Sag moon, is all about seeing this in the most optimistic, new, fresh value, okay? Seeing the value behind the pain, seeing the value behind the trauma that was trapped in the body. As you start to see that value, as you start to look at it more optimistically, you now have, in a sense, a new vision, okay? Because Sagittarius is third eye. You have a new vision of the future. And what Sagittarius helps us to do is, it's a marvelous storyteller. So it's allowing us to retell a story, reframe the story from our future selves, okay? Third eye, Sagittarius, our future self. How and where do we know we're going? We officially started, like I said, in January, that 8-year cycle closed. We're starting like an 8 to another 9-year cycle in relationships, in intimacy, going from this last Venus Cazimi, all right, where the sun and Venus both were in Libra, and it shifted at the same time, maybe for the first time that I know of, into Scorpio. Sun and Venus is in Scorpio. Venus is in Scorpio, Sun is in Scorpio. So what essentially is happening is if you are allowing yourself to let the South Node in Scorpio to bring these traumas up and also not to attach to it like we have been attached, okay? If we're not attaching to it in the ways in which we have been attached, yeah, that sun was beaming, bro. The sun was like, hey, shine light on that darkness, motherfucker. So if I try to give you the understanding of what it means for the reframe, for me it was like, I see dead bodies, okay? Like sometimes, like it's just like the deaths that I've seen in real life, okay? Watching the life leave somebody's eyes, it has always been super traumatic for me. So much where I never really had those moments where, like, there's never been one time. The healing of that journey has been never linear. And it's, again, something like 8-9 years ago, the last time I seen a dead body in real life, not on TV. And it's like watching a life leave that person's eyes. I'm able to now reframe the story. It's like, look, Pernell, actually, if I reframe the story, this is something that your company began. On the day I lost my job, the day it was my sister's birthday, and the day that I watched this male die, all on the same day. All on the same day is exactly when my true life began, when the more pure form and version of me began. That's the reframing, rather than something that has to continue to, pull me down. When I hear firecrackers and I'm like, go slap back into that event, that trauma was never released. If I give the example of, okay, wow, that first girl, in a sense, like I went through that first true scorpionic heartbreak where it's like, I'm depressed, I want to kill myself, I want to kill somebody. Right? Death, Scorpio. Sagittarius moon is allowing me to see, way before now, but to see that future self, that future version, and now to see, like, look, I'm ready to essentially release that trauma that was stored into my body, that energy, the emotions that were never expressed, into my body. Never being able to talk to anybody. Anybody that I tried to talk to, they just didn't seem to understand. It's like, it can't relate. And I was like looking for somebody to be able to relate to my experience, to my story, but I was never willing to reframe that story and how it has motivated and encouraged me, how that relationship has motivated and encouraged me to bring me back full circle. And it's like, look, I am a supremely intimate person, and this is why I began to run from relationships, from intimacy, from deeper forms of love. But here's why I'm no longer running. Here's how I'm going to reframe this story. And a part of reframing this story is like, look, this has brought me, this relationship, this break has brought me to divinity. Me merging the masculine and the feminine energies within myself, learning when to take rest, when to calm the fuck down, feminine, and when to be receptive and open myself to spirit. And when I go ahead and push, when I take that vision of mine and push it forward. So I hope this really helped to reframe your energy, help you understand what the Sag moon and the sun means. Okay, while Venus is still in Scorpio. Ultimately, this is an amazing time to be alive and find value in the trauma that was once stored in your body. And also with Sagittarius, reframe, to tell the story in a new way, a more empowering way, in a more optimistic fashion. Something where it becomes a part of your beliefs, something where it becomes a part of your path as the one you walk. Okay, the philosophy that you walk and why you're walking it, finding meaning in the suffering is all of what Sagittarius moon is about. I hope this is relevant for you. All right, I'll see you soon. Love. Hey, hit the subscription button. If you really vibe with this, I want you to drop a Sag or a Scorpio emoji down at the bottom of the chat. All right, other than that, I have an eclipse event coming. If you're a member, you actually get that eclipse event for free. It's a webinar. It's a special webinar. Okay, it's going to be about 3 hours long. And if you're not a member, you can go ahead and pay $19 and you'll get that same thing. So check my community page down here on YouTube and you'll see the direct link, or you can see it in the chat pinned, the description pinned. It should be the first link. I'll see you soon. Love. Like the goddamn video.